Hi, my name is August, and welcome to the August Hail. And today I will be wrapping up the Umineko Experience videos with the manga version of the duel between Clair and Will, the confession of the Golden Witch, and my thoughts regarding the episode 8 manga versus the episode 8 visual novel. And with that said, let's begin. First game, the first twilight, the 6 corpses in the gardening shed. Illusions to illusions. Ava and Hideyoshi were bribed by the culprit. Okay. The corpse of the 6th person was a lie, because it was Shannon. First game, second twilight. Two corpses are close together in a closed room protected by a chain. Illusions to illusions. A chain of illusions can only back illusions. The servants conspired together from the start. The chain was not set. Okay. First game, the fourth twilight. The old head of the closed room studied from inside a scorching furnace. The man of illusions will go to where he belongs. Kinzo is dead before the start of the game. The first game, the fifth twilight. The last moments of the boy who offered his chest to a stake. None who performed the autopsy was part of the conspiracy. Kanon's death was an act. We didn't actually confirm if he died. Yeah. The 3 corpses lying down in the closed room of the singing girl. Illusion to illusions. The blind girl's song is an illusion. The illusion of a closed room. Maria's testimony followed the words of the culprit. The culprit had a key. Both Shannon and Kanon were not confirmed dead, so they could have easily have opened the room. The second game, the first twilight. The 6 with their stomachs split in the closed room chapel. Rosa was bribed. All the servants and Nanjo are part of the conspiracy. They agreed beforehand to lie about the closed room. Okay, so it wasn't locked in the first. Okay. Rosa was left alive. The second game, the second twilight. Even the 2 corpses that were close together are not close. Kanon's corpse does not exist. Kanon must have killed Jessica. Kanon killed Jessica. Second game, the fourth, fifth, and the sixth twilights. Nazi's closed room, none are left alive. Shannon murdered Goda and George, and after that she committed suicide. Oh, that's gotta be a shocker for George. The second game, seventh and eighth twilights. The 2 sliced by death by the red-eyed illusion. The one who killed those 2 was Genji. Genji was alive at the end of the second game. Yeah. Continuing the third game, the 6 corpses connected by the chain of the closed rooms. The serial murders and the construction of the closed rooms were Shannon's work. The corpse found in the beginning was a lie. After the people left, she became Shannon and faked his death in the chapel. Okay, the end and the beginning overlap. That's what that metaphor meant. The third game, the second twilight. Ava murdered Rosa and strangled a flustered Maria. Nothing strange about that. Third, fourth, fifth, and sixth twilights, the corpses lying in the mansion. Ava and Hideyoshi were bribed. Hideyoshi was suspected and murdered Rudolph and Kyrie in the mansion. Kyrie didn't die instantly and murdered Hideyoshi. I wouldn't expect either Rudolph or Kyrie to go down after being shot once, to be quite honest. If it wasn't fatal, then they would have definitely have shot back. The corpses of husband and wife lay exposed in the arbor. The one who killed those 2 was Ava. Nothing too outstanding there. Ava was left alone with Kraus and Natsuki. Fourth game, the first twilight. A storm of massacre sweeps through the dining hall. Except for Battler, everyone was bribed. The beings from the other world were a lie they agreed to beforehand. I find that kind of hard to believe, but okay. The 2 young ones faced their trials and perished together. The 2 of them just moved according to a scenario. None of the fugitives are left alive. Demons and witches are all falsehood. Yeah, Sean took them all out then. Corpses do not tell anything. Fourth game. In the fourth game, the ninth twilight, and none shall be left alive. When fiction is locked up inside a cat box, it becomes truth. There are no survivors to deny the witch's illusion. Hirokinjima explosion. Yep. Okay. The confession of the Golden Witch. If I have but one wish, let this message bottle never be seen by anyone's eyes. If you, by any chance, should read this, please deal me my just punishment. This island is cursed. An island where countless souls and corpses went without salvation, and where sins cross and combine. Rokinjima, the island of the witch. And fitting to that witch's name, my life had, as well, been cursed. I was raised in an orphanage, and since I was a small child, I had worked as a servant in the house of the Ushiromiya. There were a great number of fellow servants who came with me from the orphanage, but I was exceptionally young. I was often bullied because of that. There was nothing to be done. The age gap between them and me was far too great. I had no chance of becoming friends with them, and I honestly didn't even want to. That is why I made an effort of associating with illusionary friends. If I turned my thoughts towards them, they would immediately appear next to me. They would make a loud spectacle around me. At times they would get me into troubles, but they would also console me. They were irreplaceable friends. So even in lonely nights, I wouldn't feel scared or alone. Barun, I think with this I can finally make you take work seriously. I took one key off and my chain and threw it into that key into Barun's locker. Later I took the key bundle she left lying around and replaced it with mine. Maybe I overdid it a little? What are you talking about? That was me taking over your body for the sake of teaching Barun to respect higher powers. After that she will learn to respect us. Yes, it's Barun's fault from not being diligent enough. Because of her behavior, the witch decided to teach her a little lesson. That's all. My, are you still up at this time? Tomorrow is an early day, you have to get some sleep. Umasawa-san. Kumasawa-san, thank you for helping me. You know, the master's face. No. I told you it was a kitty cat that did it, right? I think that explains. That's an interesting callback, huh? Kumasawa-san, who has served the house a long time, Geji-san, who is the head of us servants, and the master's friend, Dr. Nanjo, who occasionally comes to visit. For some reason, I can't see why they treat me so well. There were days when I received a good scolding, but they were always there for me. Especially Genji-san, who always speaks so strictly about his servant having to cast his heart in iron, and Kumasawa, who so often meddles in other people's affairs. They were like parents to someone like me without a single relative in the world. Are you listening? I have decided upon my dream. I want a family. I want to marry the boy I love one day, and then get children, all to create a real family. My. That is a really cute little dream fit for a human, as of which I can't really see it. And soon after, I fell in love. Oh, how you been? Unlike that brute Jessica, you really get cuter every time I meet you, Shaman-chan. Have you read any new detective novels? This is one I found especially entertaining. Thank you very much. I recently read all of Agatha Christie, so the son of one of the branch families of the Ushiromiya. He always made a good impression. He's a little rough around the edge, but never fake. For someone like me to have the same hobby as me, and for him to spend so much of his time on the island during the family conference with me. To me, who had no other friends my age, it wasn't that weird to lose my head over a boy like that. With him around, I was able to forget the hardships of my everyday life. So I started daydreaming about spending more time at his side. And I began to think there was also a little favor directed at me as well. What I'm into? It might surprise you, but I'm not into the homely type. I like something rougher. Even someone like Jessica, someone to bash my heads in would be nice. And wouldn't it be awesome if she was blonde and had big boobies? If you ever do quit your position as a servant, then you can come to my place. If that day comes, I will come for you on a white horse. Does that mean you'll become my prince on a white horse? That you will come and carry me off this island? What would it be wonderful to be able to live with you? I want to be your bride. If I am with you, my dream will finally come true. And while I give my best to become the ideal woman you dream about, I will keep waiting for you until you come to take me away forever. We parted with the promise to meet again 1 year later in the same spot. And to be more frank, like Milady Jessica. Like this? Battler, have you been? No, I can't talk like that. Secret tips to boost your boobs. Relax and pull. Make a cleavage. I was waiting to test how much we fell for each other, but no matter how I waited, did not return. Have you heard that Battler-san was erased from my family register? Yeah, but with his father fooling around, but even while Asumi-sama was still alive, I would leave the family too. Well, Rudolph-sama's problem with infidelity goes way back. Wasn't Hamachi also with him one time? He will come back. Surely. Next year, he will come back. Next year. Yasuda. Sorry, do you have a pad with you? No, sorry. I haven't yet, so... Oh, I see. Sorry. While I was waiting for his return, I was starting to feel unease about my body as well. My first period. Even though everyone else already had theirs. Why won't my breast grow? Especially when he likes big-breasted girls. Why I'm the only one not getting her period? Is there something wrong with my body? Aren't you still in middle school? When it comes to the tides of the moon, some people will only experience it once they have entered high school, you know? You're right. With my magic, you can immediately get giant knockers if you want. They will be plump and voluptuous like ripe fruits when Battler does return. But they also come with a set of problems that a young girl's heart should better go untroubled by. You're right. Yes, just lay your fears to rest. I should do that, right? Beatrice-sama? I hate mirrors for showing me how I truly look, because they steal my dreams from me. Is that me? That boyish-looking, flat-chested thing with a worn-out face, tossed away by the one she liked, has no real friends or family to talk to, just sits in her room melancholy talking to herself, living by deceiving herself. How shabby is that? Battler, why won't you come back to me? Come and save me. Come and take me away from this island, from this fate. What did this promise really mean to you? Was I the only one getting my hopes up? Please. So is there nothing left to me but living alone and miserable? I want to die right now. And what if I forgot all my past and could just live a different life? A different life like a boy. Oh. Huh. So they're the same person. I initially thought that Kanan was Shannon's piece, but I guess they're the same. I guess that works. From that point on, I started to appear as Kanan. If I could somehow find happiness living as a boy, then I could start letting my life as Shannon fade out of existence, I thought. Of course, this wasn't something I could just suddenly do, so my life meant alternating between Shannon and Kanan. Kumasawa and Genji played along, but just as a further extension of my game of make-believe. They helped me with secret agreements and managing the time shift. It's really something to have a boy as a servant. Shall we spend the break together? Food tastes worse if the company is bad. Doesn't talk much, is pretty cold, only insults if he opens his mouth. I'm sure that's what being a boy is like. Yes, he must appear as the complete opposite of Shannon. I only have to keep away from people as much as possible and speak as few as possible. Normally there are no more than 2 or 3 servants on duty on the island. As long as I have Kuma-sama and the others' help, it shouldn't be discovered if I do well. The strategy went better as expected. I pushed my daily discontent on Kanan, and my mischievous spirit and my feeling for that boy on the witch in me. Oh, okay. Huh. That explains Kanan's immediate disagreement with Beatrice in the second game. It was an extension of her hating herself. So I became able to smile freely as long as I was me. Ah, it's hot. No, hurry. I need ice. Shanan-chan, take off your socks quick. Oh, the injury. This is when Kinzo realized that Shanan was Beatrice, or was his daughter. He will yell at me. Master, we will have to borrow the bathroom. Yes, I am sorry that you had to witness this unsightly display. I will quickly prepare a new suit. Genji, you did it. No, it's alright. Master, what is this? I asked you if you wanted to take a try at shooting as well. Ho ho ho. Isn't that a way to treat Shanan-chan? Even Eva-sama and her siblings are not even allowed to touch these guns. Won't you want to at least give it a try? Yes. There's a resemblance. Can it be that now a chance for redemption has finally come? The gods are truly fickle. Thinking back, this is probably the most happiness I have ever experienced. My friendship with Milady also deepened. I also very easily became friends with Maria-sama. Together we expanded our world and played in it. This is how we wove the fabric of our world. And I found a new love. At first it was a way to finally forget about that boy, so I felt guilty if I had chosen him as a replacement. But the time with him was so gentle. I was so happy for someone like me being treated like a girl. And more than that, his ideal of family that he told me about one day matched with mine. More and more I got charmed by him. I may not be gifted with big breasts, but even if it takes a while, I could still get children. And so I set out to build my future with George-sama, even though there was not supposed to be a happy future in store for me. November 29th, 1984. After a hint I got from Genji-san, my passion grabbed me and I decided to challenge the epitaph. I set out to solve it, being sure that a mystery fanatic like myself would be able to so. I went about it completely oblivious to what solving the epitaph truly meant to bring about. And in the end, it was nothing but me prying open the Pandora's box that was my fate. Forgive me, Beatrice. Leon, just once. Call me father, just once. Father? My true name is Ushiromiya Leon. I have not a single regret left in my life now. It was a peaceful death, meeting you in his final moments. He had gained a chance for redemption in the end. He must be satisfied now. My father was Ushiromiya Kinzo. You are now the ruler of Okanjima, and you possess the right to know all of its secrets. Please ask us anything, whatever it may be. You knew all the time that I was the master's child, didn't you? And also, that my mother was Beatrice. Wait, my mother was the Beatrice who had been held captive in Corridorian. My mother was actually Kinzo's daughter, and also my elder sister. What does that mean? I don't understand. Do you want to say? The master deeply regretted pushing all the misguided love and the deceased Beatrice-sama on her, and also that he made you shoulder such a gruesome fate by being born out of that. That is why. So I'm the youngest child of Ushiromiya Kinzo? Wait a second. Prasama and the others are my siblings? The child he had with his lover? So Milady and the others are my cousins, yet also my nieces and nephews? Marrying a blood relative of the third degree is illegal. The blood of the Ushiromiya Kinzo runs thick in my veins. Oof. Okay, that's just another level of deeper of incest or reaching levels of incest tragedy I would have expected. I never connected the dots. The tragedy of incest goes even further. Oh, shit. Damn. In other words, I was never supposed to be born? Wait a second. After your mother died on you, Kinzo planned on introducing you to the main house as an adopted child. But Natsu, who was suffering from the severe neurosis for not being able to give birth to herself at the time, made the servant carrying you go off a cliff by. My ears won't stop ringing. Please don't tell me any more of this. Nothing good can come from this. But still, you were exceedingly lucky. I myself thought that it was nothing less than a miracle. You suffered a large alteration on your lower abdomen and genital region. Oh. But like through a miracle, you survived. Dr. Nanja really tried everything he could to save you. Well, I want to get my period. We were unable to save your dear mother, and for that, we wanted at least you to live a flattish, boyish body. Even if it were a body that cannot make children, we wanted you to live and become happy. It's a lie. It's a lie. This has to be a lie. I'm Yasuda Sayo, an orphan. I'm not that Leon you talk about. You have the wrong person. It's not me. It can't be me. Leon? No. You are Leon-sama. Can you prove that? Do you have proof that I am Leon? Yes. On your left foot is a scar left from the operation to treat your polydactyte. Oh, She inherited it from Kinzo. That alone is proof that within you flows the very blood of the master. We were careless in our care, I suppose, and the operation left a scar. That is... Why? No. Why did you let me die back then? I would have never wanted to live in such a body. A body like this, they can't even make love. I'm not even human. I'm a piece of furniture. I want a family. It's a lie that I can't have children. It's a lie that I'm a bastard. It's a lie that I'm related to you. It's a lie that I can't be happy with the person I love. Surely from the very moment I was born, I was never given a chance for a happy life. It's brutal. I didn't think it could get even worse than that. Is this what that means? Arguably, this is probably worse than the truth that happened on the island that day. A human seen as a witch will never gain happiness. Didn't you even know that? Furniture. Your tears are like an aperitif to me. This painted love is the most delicate hors d'oeuvre. Begone, witch! Don't even come near my sister. Nessan, we are and will be furniture. There cannot be love between people and furniture. You have to tell this to George-sama as well. You mustn't get any closer to the people you already are. To furniture, there is only one way to properly live as furniture. Kanan-kun, but I am... Work. It's time to work. One is the resurrection of all the souls of the dead. One is the resurrection of even the love once lost. Put the witch to eternal rest. Nothing like that happens. Now it's just about returning the mechanism to its original shape so that the gold stays hidden. So you get 4 treasures, right? What a joke. I lost everything in exchange for that gold. I spent my days like before, without ever any change. The fact that I saw the epitaph and succeeded the headship, even the circumstances of my own birth, I told nobody. Even Genji-san and the others ordered me around in the same harsh tone as before. I was afraid of laying it out in the open. If I spoke it out loud, it would come rushing in with so much more actuality. How miserable I am. And the feeling of guilt for not revealing it to the person I held fond feelings for hung on to me all the time. No matter how much gold there was no means for me to be saved from my cursed fate. The only thing left was to push it deeper and deeper into my heart. The death of the master was as if the witch within me had cast her magic. Through a secret agreement, it all became concealed. Cross-sama took on exorbitant loans. That is why they had to push the question of the inheritance further away, they said. What an arrogant woman. She talks about protecting the honor, but the only thing she cares about is her own appearance. That's scum. They were all too ready to deny our honorable head a proper funeral. The days kept by without change. It's just a reward for Kinzo who held me prisoner as well. And Natsuki, she made you fall off that cliff. My world was turned into a negative image of itself on that day. Shauna, isn't the stench coming from Jisama's study lately the worst? Honestly, what is he researching there? Lately, the master is putting all his efforts into this. And since he has a lot of very bad days, I think it is better if you don't go to his study anymore, milady. I will have to discuss the inspection of the freezer and an increase of preservatives with Genji-san.
Yes, let us propose the acquisition of a new freezer to Madam. Genji-san? In the underground. Where did all these skeletons come from?
Once, Rokujima had been a base for the Japanese army. I heard there was a mass killing between the Japanese soldier and the people who came on the Italian submarine that also brought the first Beatrice-sama here. The bones. They all are gathered in one room. There they were piled up, cluttered, unorganized. Those skeletons wearing Italian and Japanese uniforms, all thrown on a heap, as if dumped on a garbage pile. Why did the master leave his comrades like this, without even a proper burial? Why did he build the mansion on this island, as if to hide them all? The master, he killed them all, didn't he? To monopolize Beatrice-sama and the gold. Maybe he carried them here after killing them. Or, in this body, flows this dirty blood. It was at that point when... Tell me already, what is there between you and George Nisama? You seemed to be hitting it quite well the last time he was on the island. Are you two going steady? Did you go on a date? No, going steady would be... You just helped me with some shopping and it really wasn't a date and... Shut up, I tell you it was a date, I tell you. And now you keep saying that you're not going steady? He's your boyfriend and you're his girlfriend. I don't know about being a girlfriend. Really? So you didn't try to get ahead first? We promised we would get boyfriends at the same time. Milady. Hey, Chanan. Yes? Among the servants, there's this boy called Kanan. Am I right? Are you close? Eh? Kanan, does he have a girlfriend or something? Oof. I was getting dizzy of joy for being approached with such favor. Milady, have you ever talked to Kanan? Just a little, but he doesn't seem like he wants to talk to me. For Kanan, who was this lump of all the ugliness inside me. For him, was the opportunity for a life as a boy. For him to have somebody approach him with such favor. He always seemed so lonely, looking into the distance, so I wondered. When I say I wondered, I don't mean like him. But you know, if I speak to him more, maybe I can cheer him up a little. It felt almost as if he'd been allowed to live. At the same time, I was shuddering in disgust. Towards the gene of the Ushiromiya, deep within myself, I do not think that Kanan-kun has a girlfriend. Really? Well, no. He always keeps himself shut off, but I think he would feel joy at being talked to by my lady. Towards the blood of Kinzo flowing in within me, feeling joy because of this favor. The only people who make me feel needed are my blood relatives. The only thing changing on were the days and months while I kept silent. And the feeling of those two only deepened more. Listen to this if you feel down. It's a mixtape with my recommendations. Listen to it if you like. I get to know so many new emotions just by being with you. You make a gentle breeze through my heart. Shana, I'm so happy to have met you. For someone like me who is living by denying themselves, thank you for being born. The raw feeling of being loved, or it being alright to live, was more bliss than I ever knew. Will anyone be able to understand that? What was it trying to make you cry? And that was what swayed my resolve of having to bear the truth to them. That is why I felt a little relieved when I was talking about staying a night on our trip. I was assured that even on a occasion like this, even a weakling like me would be able to overcome her fear. I cast all my wishes on this sliver of hope that if George-sama truly loved me, he would accept me even if he learned the truth. But my resolve was in vain. That chance did not come about. What? Separate rooms? Milady. And George-sama suddenly brought up talks of being engaged. What should I do? I can't trick him any longer. I have to tell George-sama the truth as fast as possible. George-sama will surely be able to accept me. Aren't those sweet words furniture? Love means lust and can only be measured by two bodies lying together. George will despair as soon as he knows about your birth and your body. What a cruel illusion. Why are you pretending to be right for George when you can't even fulfill his dream? A good life, surrounded by all of our children and grandchildren. I want that future like that with you. You are sinful just for imagining yourself and him together. But George-sama, he's sincere. Our love, it will not be destroyed by something like that. Quit jabbering that nonsense. It is because George is sincere. It will put out all of his love for someone like you who kept lying to him, exploiting him with a fruitless love. There are countless replacements for you. There's no need for him to choose you. But I wanted to be loved by somebody, and I wanted to love somebody. It just accidentally happened to be George-sama. Is it a sin to even considering going through with my love for George? So you want to be with the son of your siblings? I have to congratulate you for following the same path as Kinzo, while also hating this deed the most. What will you do then? Will you be with George, hiding the knowledge that the future will only hold despair in store? No one would even allow for a person who doesn't even know their lineage to become the spouse of the heir of a company. Of course, if your lineage became known, you just might have to force George into a life into the shadows with you. And somebody without even a complete soul doesn't have the right for loving George anyway. Because I love my lady. Hanakun, please tell me your real name. It was so painful having to refuse her on that day. It was so painful having to hurt my lady like that. It was especially harsh because it was like denying myself because I do like her. Oh, the two sides of her became real. Milady shines like the sun and she makes even someone like me shine. When I am with her, I feel like I don't have to keep living like this anymore. Ne-san, you know that even if you get refused by George-sama, there will still be Lady Jessica, right? Milady is not a replacement for George-sama. Because I want to have love. Jessica? The carefree girl who doesn't even know the true form of this family? Then why don't you step forth and reveal yourself, golden witch? With your gold, all the problems of the household should be resolved in no time. My, that is not an easy of a story. If I reveal my existence to them, those greedy hounds will show their true colors and start the fight. And the only thing remaining for you and Shannon will be ruined. Stop it already! It was the cursed blood of the Ushirome that drove you to this point. And you are nothing but that. Whatever you may choose, there is no running from the pain. Choosing whatever I choose, this pain clings to me. I have been driven to the far end of the wall. I have to decide until the day when George-sama will give me that ring during the family conference. And that day will mark the border where my life will truly change without fail. I have to tell George-sama everything. George-sama will surely accept me. And then I will leave this island and cast away the me that is Kanan and the me that is Byato. I will live as Sayo, the life that I'm longing for as Sayo. But I will not be able to give George-sama the bliss of being surrounded by people. Still, my wish isn't great, so if we share true love, then we can surely be happy. Don't come any closer. You make me want to puke. You've been deceiving me all this time, haven't you? Did you think somebody like you could honestly marry me? You were disgusting. Don't ever show up in front of me again. Having never experienced being accepted for who I truly am, it was exceedingly difficult to imagine and believe in a happy future. No, George-sama isn't like that. He isn't like that. If I could just go eternally without telling him the truth, then I could be happy with him eternally. Yet, George-sama, you'll accept me, right? I believe in you, so please. While being haunted by nightmares, that day kept closing in day by day. That's all for the fine details. So from here on, Shana, you even listening? I'm sorry, man. I gave you the task to clean the hall. The family conference is soon, so keep yourself together. I already told you all, but for the first time in 6 years, Balor-kun will be attending again at this family conference. Let us prepare with all of our powers so that no embarrassments occur on that day. Is it true that Balor-san is coming back? Balor-san is coming home. He really didn't forget his promise. He's coming home. He's coming home to take me away with him. He finally appeared during my time of greatest hardship and will save me from this hell called fate. This time, I will finally become Balor-san's bride. I love Balor-san. Oh, Beatrice. I love Balor-san more than everyone else in the world. Please go away. I thought I had separated myself from you, my emotion of my first love. There's no way that Battler-san is coming to take him with me now. Someone who didn't even manage to send a letter. He probably doesn't even remember a childish promise like that. You doubt our beloved Battler-san? My current self is only thinking of George-sama. Liar. I can heal us howling in pain. So creepy. Let's stop being strong. Aren't you the one who feels the most joy for having expected Battler's return home more than anyone else? It comes just right. Why not make an insurance for when George has broken up with you? Or why not change the Battler right now? Ooh, that's right. No matter who you choose, you have that filthy body that doesn't allow you to connect with anyone. I have been a squirming, stupid spider caught in its own web. I was running around confused, trying to escape my fate, but I keep stumbling all too soon and it ends up crying in pain again and again. I cursed fate. I cursed the world. It was at a time when I had tied hand and foot to an inescapable fate that kept choking me. When I noticed that, I had spun that thread by my own devices. Maybe, if I had stood up and chosen a life for myself a bit faster, without desperately running from fate, things that might have ended without this day ever occurring. But by now, I had not even the power left to put up an honest struggle. I don't want this anymore. Make it stop. I want to be happy. I don't want to live in a body like this. If I could, just make it all never happen. Somehow, if I could just be smiling with the people I love, in a world without ties or bonds somehow. But I can't, because I have this body. I can't go anywhere. I can't become happy. If I was only freed from this lump of flesh tied down by obligation, it could be connected to all of them by our souls. But it's so easy, for I am now Beatrice, the Witch of Broken Jima. I will return this island to the Golden Land. I have that power. You plan to commit suicide with this whole island in a cage of emergency, didn't you? Now, to see if it can still be used. I will carry it all out on the day of the family conference. The explosion. It wasn't her breaking the mirror, it was her testing out the bombs. I shall return Rokenjima and the whole household of Ushiromiya to the Golden Land, for that is the curse of Beatrice, the Witch of Gold, who enthralls his household. Dr. Nanjo, Kumasawa, I have a favor to ask of you as the family head. I want you to do exactly as I say during the family conferences here. I will give you as many ingots as you want for it. We will do whatever it is in our power when it comes to you. We don't need any money for that. We want to repay the compassion you had for us with any chance of making you happy. A murder mystery game? Of course we will play along. Genji-san, you are my most loyal furniture, are you not? Yes. You will grant me whatever I order you to do, right? As family head, I can do with this island and the household as I please, right? Yes. Even if I were to say I wanted to commit suicide together with this whole household? Yes. For I am too to blame for driving you into this corner, my mistress. I shall serve you until the very end. Thank you. Shannon. Oh, a girl. A girl. Rule X. The accomplice is different in every time. The adults are all in financial trouble, it is easy to bribe them. Rule Y. Lies agreed on by everyone can be depicted as actually happening. In a locked room situation, anything goes. People who observe the golden butterflies are either accomplices or dead. Those who are not bribed can only see the gold butterflies in the time space of 30 minutes before their death. Oh, I see. Okay, that explains that bit of magic there. From that point on, I began to write down plans for a crime as if I had gone mad. Question which future might be the best and what circumstances might satisfy me. I wrote these tales with endless fourth to fifth embellished with this illusion of magic. To me, being used to playing around with illusions, this was no mere plan for a crime, but also the idea of parallel worlds on the day of the crime, as if my soul was released from my body and I was able to experience all of these worlds. Die, 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 die! I started to find a sinister delight in the act of endlessly killing all of the family. Die, die, die! Ushiromiya Kinzo, with his accursed blood and all his sins he is the root of all the chain of misfortune, to think that you should have the right to rest in peace. Shouldn't it satisfy you to serve a role for Beatrice even in death? All of those who continued the chain of misfortune Kinzo began should die as well. Kraus, who is connected to his siblings by a chain of hatred and violence, and Natsu, who derailed my destiny. Eva Hideyoshi, who stands in the way of my and George-san's future. Rudolph and Kyrie, who gave reason for Battler-san not to return. And Rosa, who abused Maria-sama. Genji and Kumasawa and Nanjo, who indirectly created the situation by serving as accomplices to Kinzo. And Goda, who tried to get personal gain out of striking a deal with Natsu. All of them. All of them. It would be better for all the people connected to the House of Ushiromiya to cease existing. From the start, I knew it would only be a matter of time until they, who had made a living by tricking and oppressing other people, would go bankrupt. If one family was to make a mistake, then all the past and all the sins of the other people would start to be revealed as well, and in the end, they would all fall into ruin. Even if they were to overcome the family conference of 1986, there would be no happy future in store for them. That is the destiny, the karmic justice for this household born from Kinzo's sin and cursed gold, because no leaves and branches will prosper from such rotten roots. To come and die together with me, then nobody will have to suffer anymore. The scenario is a ritual murder committed by a witch. The plan behind the scenes was my family's suicide, and the cash card that was charged with money from converting some of the gold in the fitting key code. I would try to win the adults over to my side. Oh, that's the code. Cross and Nazi have many weaknesses. It should be easy to turn them into my pawns. Still, it would be better to hide my true identity when showing them the gold and threaten them with unveiling their conspiracy to hide Kindo's death, their embezzlement, or threaten to kill Jessica. But Nazi is not very intelligent and she is fast to anger, so there's probably not much to making her an accomplice. There would just be more to gain in just watching her in terror, not knowing what is happening. For Ava and Hideyoshi, it would probably be just as worth to use George as my trump card. Ava's actions are simple to predict. She is soft towards her next of kin, but quick to leave those outside her immediate family behind. She would be the perfect pawn in my game. If I can bribe Rudolph and Kyrie alongside Ava, I could probably employ them as acting murderers. A clear downside is that Kyrie is fast to doubt people. If I am unable to make them into my pawns early, I should dispose them as fast as possible. I doubt whether Rosa will be open to discussion based on Maria's life, but she should be open to the promise of the gold. A petty villain like Goda should be easily bribed into making a valuable member involved in the secret agreement. The one with the most value as a pawn is Maria. Adoring the witch, she would do whatever I tell her, and there lies a taste of truth in the words of a true believer like her. She would surely take the role of confusing the people on the scene, as well as thickening the presence of the witch. Yes, Maria is my most precious accomplice, who I promised to take to the Golden Land. I would never allow for her body to be disgraced. She must rest in peace. Since Genji, Kumasawa, and Nanjo feel indebted to me, they are loyal and will become my eyes and ears. Especially Nanjo, since he can give false statements upon states of death. Due to their long service, they are trusted by the family, so having all three of them as accomplices is a huge advantage. They will also be able to provide me with the necessary drugs and poisons for a crime. It might be a mystery staple to have the physician as accomplice, but it can be very rewarding to follow old customs. Those who were bribed under the pretense of it is going to be fake murders will surely lose their composure when being confronted with actual corpses. I better play dumb and tell them I paired dummies with all the money, or somebody else is going around actually killing all those people, and if that doesn't work, I will have to dispose of them. Guns exist in abundance. If I hide them in several convenient places in the mansion, I don't even have to carry them around with me all the time. While also hiding the bullet wounds with Kinzo's collection of stakes and sawed-off rifles, it should also be quite the bizarre setup for the corpses. That's why the stakes were used. That's a clever cover-up. It also increases the idea that the Golden Witch actually exists. If they found out it was gun wounds, then by switching the breaker, I can easily pretend the phones were disabled. The means of communication and the electric system are all underneath my control. It is all within the palm of my hand, the hand of the witch in the family head. I have power over life and death of every being on this island. With the magic called the gold, their very thoughts will do as I command. I'm spinning this world from 16 pieces, again and again and again. As long as I have my magic, I can spin countless worlds within the world of October 4th and 5th. This endless if, it gives birth to endless fragments in this cat box called October 4th and 5th. These are all parallel worlds floating within the cat box, and I am there to watch in on them. It's like a kaleidoscope. What will the pocket of the roulette hit next? Who will be the accomplice? Who will be the victim? What fragment shall I peek at? What fragment shall I spin? I do not have to abandon my plan. At times I follow it, at other times I play around. I just have to go about it at random. If I ended up getting cornered, then I just might kill anybody right then and there, because I have abandoned making any choices. So no matter what development or what result there is, I will surely be satisfied. And soon another fragment will be spun. This is wonderful. My magic is unfathomable. Now I have finally become a true witch. This is a level of overhead view that humans cannot reach. This is my domain. You're calling yourself a witch, aren't you? Yes, I am already a witch. But to prove that I've truly surpassed the domain of humans, I need to be observed and acknowledged by a being even higher than myself. If you should be that, then please, make me a witch. And if I say no, then I will make you acknowledge me, because I'm already a witch without being acknowledged by anybody. The tread from the physical realm of humans over the threshold into the realm between the fragments is a feat that only us witches can pull off. And even higher than us, those are the ones freed from all constraint, rulers of all things in creation, the gods. You are humans not but splinters tossed around by the destiny that we give rise to. And you little wood chips say that you want to be on one level with me? Since a child swore to me to become a god, you are the first to raise my interest. I am truly intrigued by you and your magic system. While you are not but human flesh, by bringing your spirit on my plane of existence, you have created a proper domain. This cat box of yours holds perfect and endless possibilities. How far will you be able to ease my boredom, I wonder? Very well. In the name of the Witch of Certainty, Lambda Delta, I acknowledge you as a witch. As long as your certain magic world keeps on being certain, that is, I will forever continue to be your guardian. This endless tragedy of October 4th and 5th, I shall spin it until I am satisfied. The time limit is midnight on October 5th. 500 tons of explosive will blow this island away. Very well, try and stop me. The parents will definitely gather in one place and discuss family matters until deep into the night on the 4th. Murder will be so simple. Their bodies will be hauled to the storage shed that has been painted with a magic circle beforehand. And to hide the bullet holes, I will use the sawed-off shotgun to blow off their faces. If I put poison into the drinks they toast with, I can bring it to a fast end. If I make the first Twilight as horrible and cold as possible and play it off like an impossible crime, his interest should definitely be piqued and he will feel like taking on the riddle. If I kill either Shannon or Kanan early on, then moving around after that will become so much easier. But on the other hand, it might also become very enjoyable to present myself as the actual living Beatrice. With the two sets of keys I carry, that of Shannon and Kanan, if done right, I could pull off some locked room tricks.
Oh, that's right.
As a double body, she has two keys. So even if one was eliminated, she has another one. And she also still has those master keys. Kanan killed Jessica. Oh, I'm sorry. Yes, there was one idea for a locked room that I have real confidence in. A chained locked room that seals in the corpses and keys in a consecutive link. First, starting with room 2 and going around, I seal in a corpse and the key of the room before locking them in. In 1, there is only the key for room 6, and the door is left unlocked. Finally, I enter room 6, lock the door with the inside lock, and pretend to be dead. The important point is that 1 has to be at a place as far away and as difficult to find as possible. 6, on the other hand, must be very easy to spot. It must be a room that has a window or something, which allows the locked room to be easily destroyed from the outside. The people discovering 6 will easily break the window pane and enter the locked room, finding the key to 5 inside and being left in reverse order. The people discovering 6 will easily break the window pane and enter the locked room, finding the key to 5 inside and being led in reverse order around the rooms. In the meanwhile, I will sneak out through the broken window and enter 1, lock the door from the inside, and again pretend to be dead. Not just help is essential in this, but there is a very high gain to it. Of course, there's also the method of locking the door from the inside and then committing suicide to create a locked room. I read that in one of the many mystery novels. You tie a gun to a string of wire and the blast from the shot will catapult it back behind a piece of furniture to hide it. I would just have to place a stake beforehand. Then the Witch of the Illusion will prevail beyond my death, wouldn't it? Otherwise, I could attach a misleading tag to the wrong key and place it in a room. Even if I were to lock the room from the outside, then the illusion of the locked room wouldn't be broken, since nobody except the servants will be able to discern a key from this match from a fake one in the first place. Of those many tricks I know, which one should I put to the test? But even if I don't go through the huge trouble of preparation, I still have my golden magic of the secret agreements. As long as I have my magic, any locked room trick, any trick of vanishing corpses, any impossible crime is at my free disposal just by pinning the crime on someone else. What to do next? A royal road mystery? A really bizarre horror story? How will the pieces move when I point my finger? Sometimes I might even carry out the murders without any accomplices, or rather make everyone into accomplices of the fake murder game. I should test whether they truly fulfill my expectations. My beloved people, thank you for loving me. You will be with me forever, even as souls after we die. You too would gladly sacrifice yourself to my desire, right? Is this really right? Something so horrible. Really? To make those I love take part unwillingly. To make the families of the ones I love take part unwillingly. Can I be satisfied with that? Is this really the right thing? No, this can't be right. I want the people I love so much to live. Because I really want to live happily, if it can be granted somehow. What's this? After all you have done, do you really think you could still lead a happy life? Furniture? Yes, it is not yet decided, yet I can think of nothing else. So, that is why there must be someone else to stop me. We'll see. Someone please stop me. Kinza said solving the epitaph equals a miracle. So if I were to entrust it to a bet on the magic of miracles, the one to solve the epitaph would arrive at this room, switch off the bomb, and survive. If any chance my beloved someone would solve the epitaph and through it inherit the headship, I would devote my life to that miracle. I would throw away all my other emotions and live forever at that person's side. And I would stop the murders and confess all of my sins. Whatever result, whatever end it might bring, I could accept it, for this would surely be my punishment. I am sure you'll be able to solve it, right? You will notice that I am the culprit. And then you will stop me, right? All those different tales are all the different message bottles. If that might not come true, then at least let us all be happy in the Golden Land. All of these magic bottle mails are made in a way so that if you follow all of the many rules, you'll be able to unveil the culprit. That is why each and every single one of these bottles contains a confession of my sins. Repentance for my sins that would not exist had I not written them down. At least as a small apology, I send the bereaved families a very small Golden Land of mine. Of course I know these will not excuse any of what I did. Once I would have Maria-sama recite the invitation I made her memorize, the curtainless tragedy will have to rise, I assume. After that, it would all be left to the result of the roulette. On October 5th, when the bell strikes midnight, we will surely all be welcome to a land where we will be free of all of our suffering. I am the noble witch of Rokenjima, Beatrice, and I shall make the curtain fall on this accursed bloodline and this chain of ill fate. And if by any chance I might be forgiven, please grant me the miracle of smiling with that person when the seagulls cry. God, those are some really good chapters. Holy shit. I feel pain. I'm just sad. What's worse is that if we were to believe that single truth of what happened on that day, or in the burned castle, they did solve the epitaph. It was probably a result that Shana never would have expected. And so I guess she relinquished herself to fate at that point, just gave up. Of course, it doesn't matter in the end because the tragedy still happened regardless. I wonder how she did. Curie still shot her. So how in the end was she able to survive and leave the island with Battler? Interesting. This was a tragedy that should not have been opened. Even if it was the actual truth, I think I would have preferred to not have seen it. Fate dealt Sayo a terrible hand. And to be quite honest, how the murders happened never really mattered to me, but the reason did. That's what's more important. I suspected that Sayo wanted to take revenge on the Ushiromiya family, but I didn't expect her hatred to go even further. Sayo should have been entitled to her own happiness. And I think the family would have loved her. Well, I do think that the cousins would have accepted Shannon. They might have gotten pushed back by the adults, but I want to be hopeful in a possible future that Sayo was happy. And that was Umineko, the Confession of the Golden Witch. While I will not be covering the episode 8 manga in depth, I did read the episode 8 manga and did write a couple of notes about it. And while it followed the outline of the visual novel, it did change at many different parts. The manga more explicitly reveals the answers and uncovers more of the hidden mysteries within Umineko, and through the changes, it also goes a lot more deeper into the characters. For example, the logic puzzles were converted to the hide and seek game, which felt more natural, and in addition, there were some parts that were changed, like for example, the battle between Erika and Battler. And while most of the conclusions could have been reasonably figured out, I just through blissful unconscious ignorance just happened to never approach those answers. Now in the visual novel, I did choose the magic ending. The manga took me through the trick ending, and to be honest, I don't like the trick ending because it rejects all of Anji's characterization leading up to the Battle of the Golden Land as well as the fight against Burn Castle. Those are my thoughts about the trick ending, but in regards to the manga, it tried to have it both ways, and as a result, it does weaken the ultimatum presented at the very end. But that's if we were to compare it to the visual novel. It's also the reason why I won't go back into the visual novel and read the trick ending. In my mind, it's an absolute choice, and it should stay that way. I'm more tolerant in how the manga presented it because it did foreshadow the idea of accepting the single truth while also believing in the power of magic and using that to move forward into the future. I do think it's a strong theme, especially since how the manga was more explicit in its answers. But if we were to take that same concept and apply it to the visual novel, that whole ideal runs counteractive to the themes the visual novel was trying to present in the first place. The visual novel's more ambiguous, open-ended ideas also left a lot more to interpretation, so that you could think of whatever possible idea could have happened, and that served to help further its own themes. Now, the manga adaptation is fine in its own right. I personally just prefer the visual novel's thematic points. And so, to conclude, this will be the last of the Umineko Experience videos. While there may be more to Umineko, I will be stopping here. It's been a fun journey, and I'm content to what Umineko offered to me and more. But now, I feel it's time to move on to another story, one outside of the When They Cry series. This was a fun experiment, and I might end up doing another one of these in the future for another series, but in due time. Let me know if there's another series you want me to check out in the description down below. And finally, if you like what I do here and want to see more, subscribe if you haven't already. New content every week. For more of my thoughts, you can find me on Twitter at TheAugustAyo. That's it for today. Thank you for watching, and I hope to see you again.